Privyet, people. It is another segment of the Russian Bot podcast. Tonight, we will be discussing the issues with red pill religion and why we have to distinguish our tactics from that of Max Kolbe's. Tonight, I have Curious Scribe. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the Curious Scribe, and I'm happy to be here to voice some of my concerns with RPR.
Good. And we have HistoryNet.
Konnichiwa.
Brass should be joining us pretty soon here, hopefully, but I contacted him on Twitter. But we shall begin now. So, anyway, enough with that phony Russian accent. What are your guys' main issues with RPR?
Okay, I guess I'll start since I wasn't able to join like last night's stream. If that's the time frame you did your first stream on RPR.
It was like 2 nights ago now.
Oh, wait, 2 nights ago then. Okay. So anyway, I wasn't able to make it because I was working those nights and stuff. So I guess for me, one of my main issues with RPR was basically like the almost constant bashing of Protestants. Because I myself am born and raised Catholic and stuff, but
Right.
I found that basically, a lot of the excuses for like hating on Protestants was kind of just petty. Like basically it kind of boiled down to basically some radical Protestant insulted my faith and stuff, so I'm going to start bashing them and stuff. It's like very immature-esque, because
Right.
we all experience hate in our life in some way. Something that we like or care about and stuff, and someone just bashes it and stuff.
Right.
It sucks, but
I'll
it's kind of
admit,
immature, yeah.
I've kind of gotten into that too because I come from an evangelical background, and I kind of have a love-hate relationship with my evangelical background. So I like to bash it sometimes, especially to the detriment of people like Reformed Christian apologists.
Well, see, here's the thing is I have known actually lots of ex-Catholics who also feel the same way about the church. And I'm not talking about sexual abuse, because a lot of people bring up the child abuse scandal stuff. I'm talking about people who basically had very radical, Catholic parents or went to Catholic school with very strict and disciplinary Catholic teachers and stuff. And they ended up quitting their faith and feeling disenfranchised by the church because of their experiences. So, nothing sexual involved. They just felt, either abused physically or mentally in some fashion by the church.
Right, and that's how I kind of felt about my evangelical.
Yeah, and the problem with RPR is that they seem to overlook the, actual abuses that have gone on within the church and within the faith and stuff, and try to point fingers at other groups and stuff, which include like, the atheists or the Protestants. Like recently, I think like Max put link to like a bunch of sex scandals in a Baptist church, and we're kind of okay, that happened, that's sinful, that doesn't look good on a Baptist church, but you can't use that to deflect the issues that the Catholic Church has been having. I'm a Catholic, I still support the church and love the institution, but the institution does have its issues and it needs to be solved.
Right, and I think it's always good to voice those kind of concerns.
Because you notice
I want to get to HistoryNet and then HistoryNet. What are your main concerns and issues with red pill religion? And
Other than what I voiced the other night, I would say the entertaining the conspiracy theories like the moon landing and the flat Earth and the faked, giant skeletons that were obviously photoshopped and faked, but one guy also believes that the Smithsonian is hiding, and yeah.
What? What does he believe about the Smithsonian? Like he believes
that the Smithsonian's is faking the conspiracy that the Nephilim skeletons.
Oh, that's pretty. Oh, we have Mr. Brass here. Introduce yourself, Mr. Brass.
Hello.
Yeah, so I guess what I was going to ask, I guess maybe it was Dimitri or any of you can answer this, is that, so I was just going to say, it's like, I don't know, I mean, have you noticed the deflecting that Max does when people bring up the whole sex abuse scandals in the Catholic Church?
What kind of deflecting? What do you mean?
Oh, it's just if someone brings it up, he then
Kind of faded away.
So, no, was that just me or?
No, that was yeah.
Well,
Oh, I cut. Okay, did I cut?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I was saying is, I'm just wondering if you guys noticed, like, how, like, if someone brings up the sex abuse scandals with the Catholic Church, almost seems like Max deflects to something else, like sex abuse scandals with, like, a secular community.
Well, yeah, and I definitely think that's looking back on that, that's definitely flawed to I guess bring up in the
Well,
context.
it's kind of like it's almost, to me at least, how it kind of comes off to me. It's almost like sweeping it under the rug, and it's kind of like, no, you don't sweep something like that under the rug. It can be like, it's a very serious controversy that happens.
Definitely, and it's been going on for decades.
I mean, like, it happens in schools. We don't basically, we haven't abolished the school system because types of stuff
Oh,
happens.
that's whataboutism.
What?
That's whataboutism.
Yeah, whataboutism.
Oh, in what way is it whataboutism?
Talking about that's what they usually respond with when you bring up sex abuse issues in public schools, and they're like, "Whataboutism?" Because
Okay.
it's
Well, I was bringing up public schools as an example that we don't abolish public schools, so it's like talking about the issues in the Catholic Church doesn't equal we're demanding that the Catholic Church be abolished. Like,
Right, and
you get really
that's where
defensive.
Max kind of went off the deep end, so to say.
Yeah, and then he kicked Mr. Brass from the stream because he made like a Catholic priest joke and stuff.
Oh, Brass, you're always getting in trouble with your jokes.
Yeah, it was like a pedophile joke. I can't even remember what it was.
I think
you mentioned something about a Catholic priest. It was a pedophile joke that was based upon like a Catholic.
I think I remember. Was it like how do you make two Catholic priests fight each other? You put a little boy in between them or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was something like that.
Yeah. And then he just like gets, and then he just kicks you and stuff.
Yeah. So apparently, I kind of agree with HistoryNet too. One of the huge issues I have with RPR is that the leader there is, so to say, he's willing to entertain all these like really fringe conspiracy theories. I mean, I'm not totally against talking about conspiracy theories because some of them do happen.
Wait, just
I do think that there's hold on, and I do think that there is a lot of legitimate, fishy shit about what government does behind closed doors. But what he's doing, like, endorsing like moon landing hoax theories, that's too far even for me.
Well, I mean, just be clear, it's not about talking about it. It's like basically believing it. That's
exactly what I mean.
Okay.
And it's pretty much advocating for it. He pretty much told me on Messenger, yeah, the government totally faked the fucking moon landing.
Well, I don't believe that we faked the moon landing, but if people want to believe that it's fake, I mean, that's up to them and stuff, I
mean, the only basis.
I don't believe that the Earth is flat, really. But I just thought that the conspiracy was interesting, and like the ideas that they came up with, it was a very interesting how they elaborated it.
The only basis they could say the moon landing was faked was point out the fishiness that nobody's been on the moon ever since then.
Oh, I think another thing that they came up with was the fact that apparently NASA lost all the original tapes. Like that, I think that's like the biggest evidence that people are talking about now is that NASA doesn't have the original tapes of it anymore.
Well, HistoryNet, the reason why we haven't been to the moon since the 1970s was because after the USSR fell, the U.S. government, the whole reason why we were in the space race was because we were trying to defeat the USSR.
Well, funny enough, I know that the moon is actually full of sorry if this is off topic a bit, but the moon is actually full of helium-3. So there is actually, like, in terms of energy, a reason to actually go back to the moon and start mining it.
Right, and that could be a topic, for alternative energy in the future.
I'm talking about, like, I know all that. Like, I'm just pointing out that their biggest objection to it, and the fact that we don't have colonies on the moon where we should be doing.
Yeah, but like I said, that's just that kind of goes back to what I was saying about our de-interest in the moon in exploring space since 1991.
So, okay, so I didn't get a chance to watch your previous video entirely. I just saw the opening minutes because it was late at night when I caught it and stuff.
Right.
Because when it was posted in HistoryNet's Discord server.
Right.
So basically, just to clarify, so Shannon Q posted just a casual picture of a waterfall, and Max like got on like the RPR philosophy Twitter and went off on her and stuff.
Oh yeah, it was like really
there was
bad.
no reference to atheism whatsoever. Like there was no
reference
going around. Just like he just loses it.
It was a purely unprovoked personal attack on his part.
And so he doesn't follow her, or at least the page doesn't follow her, right? So he literally just like searched her up or something like that.
I guess he got apparently someone apparently convinced Buckley to give him the key, and then he just went off on her on that, and he wasn't doing his usual thing where he just calls her a bigot. He was calling her like a skank, a horrible excuse of a mother, a thought who does anything for cash, etc.
Okay, so, and that was not okay. Okay, and so and like the page I think got taken permanently down, right?
Because of that, yeah, because of his
Yeah, I told him that he was going to get permabanned for that. Like I warned him, saying that if you're not part of like the left wing ideologue and stuff, the moment you do something like that, you're going to get permabanned and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And now because of his stupidity and his sheer not understandable hatred towards Shannon, the RPR philosophy channel or Twitter account is gone.
Yeah, I mean, and then like I'm surprised Albino Snowman was kind of like kind to him, because I feel like Albino Snowman would have gone off on him about that whole thing, because it seems like he would have a problem with Max being so radical. Because that was one of my problems with Max from the get-go, was that
I think he stayed out of it
a lot.
Yeah, I think he stayed out of it. The more recent controversy surrounding Shannon Q.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like, I mean, I've on several occasions wanted to tell Max that I think the average Catholic member of the institution would basically say that he's suffering from the sin of wrath and stuff. Because, there's an entire deadly sin dedicated to saying that you're not supposed to go off like that.
Right.
That's like a damnable offense and stuff, yeah.
And like I said, that's where I kind of tell Max that he needs to like just stay away from her and from the non secular community in general, but he just does not do that. He doesn't obey. He does, or take that into consideration. Well, the thing of it is, there's almost like this continuous repeating cycle where Max will go on some unprovoked attack against like Shannon or the non secular community. We have to get involved. And then, once we think that it's the controversy's done, not even like a month later, he's going right back to it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised John was apparently upset.
Yeah,
you made the video, because that's weird. Because I feel like he would have agreed with us, because not everyone. Like, there are some people who do not like what Max did and stuff, yeah.
Right, but how John defended it was that he said that, Max did apologize. But I saw his so-called apology. That's not an apology. You can't call someone, like, vile and disgusting and awful and then just say, oh, I'm sorry about calling you a skank or whatever. That's not a formal apology. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what was the apology exactly?
He said it very briefly.
You're no better than a Nazi. You're part of a hate cult. Go away and never bother us again. But I shouldn't have called you a slut. Sorry for calling you a slut, sweetie.
Yeah, there you
go. Well, so he called her a Nazi and stuff.
Yeah, and that's another thing too.
It's like, yeah, that's like exactly. That's like one of the. I mean, again, like the first time I joined RPR and stuff, and I shared the link with a couple other people. A lot of people were saying that he was acting like an SJW and stuff.
Yeah, and you can't do SJW. You can't call out SJW behavior and then behave like it. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's funny because apparently, John doesn't really like anti-SJWs and stuff, and he hates like the culture warriors, which is kind of entertaining given the fact that RPR would be definitely kind of considered part of the culture war.
Well, it depends on what you mean by culture war. Did you know the culture war was originally defined by the progressive?
Yeah.
Well,
by John, you mean John Baptiste, right?
Yeah, exactly. He saw our video and he commented on. He was basically bitching at me.
But it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just like, it's like we're in a culture war. I mean, I'm not saying I like that we're in a culture war, but it's kind of undeniable. And if you basically have if you have right-leaning opinions and stuff, then you're kind of, going to be dragged into it because it's in a left versus right dichotomy right now.
Right.
So, and I mean, it's even the worst kind of war. It's a non-violent war for the most part.
War of ideas.
Well, it's a war of ideas with censorship and deplatforming. And so, I mean, there is violence. Like Antifa definitely has brought violence to it. But I mean, it's probably going to get worse anyway. But like I said, we didn't ask for this war. The progressives thrust it upon us and stuff. It was either that or just let them, screw the country over.
Yeah, and they in their intolerance of any kind of public display of religion, that's why we're a thing.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing is, it's just that So I guess back on subject is one of my issues with with RPR was basically the almost constant Protestant bashing and stuff. The basically all the rantiness, the claims that like an atheist cannot hold a public office because Max doesn't trust them. And then, there's also the constant flood of anarchist posting and stuff, which is just gets annoying after a while.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, as much as I don't like militant atheism, I'm not going to say that an atheist can't vote, hold political office. I mean, I would actually vote for an atheist president if they were genuinely tolerant of religion and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a friend who is an atheist. He's an online friend and stuff, and even he recognizes that Christianity is an important aspect to American culture.
Right.
So he respects conservative Christians and stuff. He's just kind of like, right. I do my thing, you do your thing and stuff. And he hates socialism and hates the left. That's he's a ardent anti-PC guy and stuff.
Right.
There's only one atheist I would ever vote for as president. Richard Spencer.
Oh, Brass, you just got us demonetized.
Is he? Is he an atheist? I never heard him talk about religion. Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's said it before that he is.
Oh, I expect him to be like a neo-pagan or something like that.
Why? Because he got in a feud with Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah, and I believe Sargon tried to say he was a Christian or something, and then he just said, "No, I'm an atheist."
I don't know why you think that.
That's a common thing among many, even so-called classical liberals like Sargon and Akkad. They'll try to say many white nationalists are Christian, even though many of them despise Christianity and believe it's a down.
That's another guy. Dean tried to push his buttons.
Oh. Who?
Oh, Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, and I didn't understand that either because I thought Sargon is long gone from his militant atheist days.
Well, it's because apparently Max is even though Max has never shown any proof of it, to convince me and stuff, is that Max is certain that Sargon apparently is one of the atheists that basically tried to get him taken off of YouTube or something like that. He thinks Sargon basically is one of the many atheists that have tried to take religious people off of YouTube or something like that.
Well,
he was one of the big ones, but not because of his atheism.
I actually remember something funny on the Red Pill Religion Facebook. I remember Max had said, "Can someone tell Sargon of Akkad that he's the scum of the earth?" And just a bunch of stuff. And what I did is I went on Twitter and I just tweeted him and said, "Oh, Dean wanted me to tell you that you're the scum of the earth. Have a nice day."
The thing is that that's one of my problems with Max is that he basically says, he claims all these things, but he doesn't bring any evidence to back it up really.
Yeah, it's
how am I supposed to believe all the stuff you say about Sargon if you're not going to give me an example?
Right.
But when have Christians ever wanted to provide evidence for anything?
Oh,
we provide evidence for things and stuff. I'm just saying, it's just in this case we're talking about a person alive today. Someone who we all know and stuff, and you don't provide evidence about that.
By the way, I should mention to the audience our spiritual past. I mean, I'm a former evangelical who has a lot of experience with Buddhism. Brass is a deist. History Net's a secular theist, and Curious Scribe here is a Catholic. So
yeah,
that's to the audience. So if you're wondering,
you're a Buddhist. Ah, yeah. Are you legit? Are you a legit Buddhist, or are you like the LARPers, the American LARPers that most people claim to be Buddhists?
Oh, come on. I mean, first of all, I'm not a Buddhist. I said I have somewhat of a Buddhist background due to my ex.
Okay, I don't know. It's just in American stuff, a lot of people I don't jump on the hype train, or I'm not sure what the terminology is for, but you have a lot of people who aren't really legit Buddhists.
Right, and there's many Westerners who they view Buddhism more as a philosophy than an actual faith system, but that's neither here nor there. Getting back to the main topic, my huge issue with Max and the RPR was his sheer rage that I didn't understand.
Like, yeah, I can see that.
Like,
well, and another thing is like. Yeah, another thing that I always just had problems with him is just like I told him multiple times, drop it with Shannon. I told him multiple times.
I did too, and so did he.
Yeah, and then,
not to keep white knighting Brass.
Yeah, and then also he talked about wanting to go after Mr. Metacore. And I'm kind of like, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing?
What do you do to you?
Yeah, it's like
do not go after Metacore. You're poking the bear.
It's apparently everyone who's associated with Gamergate, or at least who Max thinks is skeptic or something. Mr. Metacore is not an atheist from the look of it. He apparently thinks that they've all slandered him or something like that. So apparently,
I told him not to go after everybody. People have told him not to go after Metacore. You're poking the bear.
Well, it's not just poking the bear. It's useless. It's like going after Mr. Metacore is like attacking the court gesture and stuff. It's stupid. It's literally you're literally just asking to be made a lolcow and stuff. And that's why I've told him, I think one time at one point, was that you're basically asking to be a lolcow and no one's going to take you seriously and think you're a joke. It's like
nobody already takes it seriously anymore. I mean, he's pretty much destroyed his huge reputation. A lot of that has to do with his sheer
anger. He's a boomer. He's basically a boomer. That's where that terminology boomer comes from, is that you basically don't understand how the internet works, and that once you become a lolcow, people are just going to try and mess with you and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but Max has already gone down the route of people like Jenny McDermott and Brett Kane.
Yeah, and then you have like some of the yes men in the Discord server who just like blindly follow him and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, my main issue I had with him is I didn't understand.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I said like John Baptiste.
Well, John Baptiste has disagreed with them, at least in privately on some things and stuff. But there are a couple others who basically
He made a comment that hold on, I have to bring it up.
He's upset that we didn't consult. He's upset that we didn't consult him first, even though I invited him to my server.
That's what it was, yeah. Yeah, and you tried to DM him, so he's pissed. So
and I told him on Facebook. So yeah, I mean,
Andrew's being a good sport about it.
Well, Andrew Andrew hasn't been on in a while, basically. So so I mean, Andrew only recently had like a video, I think he did. Yeah, he's kind of been gone for a while. Yeah.
I talk with Andrew all the time on Twitter. So I mean, I'm good with him. It's like not really anything with Andrew. I do think probably the better thing would be for if he tried to dissociate from Max as well, because I think at Max's state right now, I don't really see him improving. I just think it's going to get worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't help.
Over again since like mid 2018. It's not going to get any better.
Well, it also doesn't help that he's invited like a lot of these like conspiracy theorists in, and then the anarchists are also like helping him set his buns either. Like the anarchists are not helping at all, because like those people are also like basically unhinged and crazy too. Like the Dinner Ant Cat has some issues too. Like,
I like Degenerate ANCAP, and I'm willing to talk about anarchism with him, but some of them are just so ideological in their absence of ideological government.
Okay, in voice, yes, but on Discord, a lot of the times Degenerate's basically either like shit posting or basically like just like going into like rants and stuff. Like, like his rant about the police is just like insane and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, but personally, I mean, I'm grateful to my local law enforcement, but for reasons I don't want to get into, but yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna say, I mean, I'm kind of like the one thing I don't like about it is just that it's like it's just kind of like first they complain about Antifa being controlled opposition, so we shouldn't associate Antifa with like anarchism and stuff, and I'm willing to give them that benefit of the doubt, but then apparently we're supposed to basically suspend that same gratitude to police officers, despite the fact that the intention of police officers are to protect and serve the people by the definition of the job. But we're supposed to not believe that because, they're part of the state, i.e. they're evil and stuff.
Well, and the police they're very localized. We're not like in Japan or Russia or China or,
Germany. But, again, this kind of plays into conspiracy theory.
Right.
Just remember this is like, if I go up to you and I put a gun to your head and tell you to give me your money, that would be called a mugging and that would be called immoral. However, if I tell you that I'm from the government, that's just called tapping.
There you go.
Yeah, and then and then they're acting like, okay, like in an anarchist society, if everyone is armed and stuff, we're not going to have we're not going to have wars or something like that. It's kind of like, in third world countries, both sides are pretty well armed. People are still going to kill each other. That's not a deterrent.
Somalia. Yeah. That's a good example of a true anarchist state is Somalia.
Yeah, didn't Degenerate ANCAP try to counter that, saying that it's all part of the master plan or something by the statists, or like they're still run by the state?
Well, actually, Somalia is actually better now than they were when they were a state.
Well, hold on. What happened with Somalia was that you had a communist government in power. They committed genocide against a tribal group known as the Issarak. And then when the Soviet Union fell, all their aid that they were getting from the USSR and China was being suspended. And so that caused the government to collapse. And because there had been so much Soviet armaments that were just dumped in Somalia, that caused a huge civil war in the 1990s. And by 1993, we had sent peacekeepers there. That's what the movie Black Hawk Down was about.
Wait, but Somalia now, don't they now have a state? Like, haven't they kind of stabilized now?
They have somewhat stabilized, but there's still a huge issue with Somali pirates and jihadist groups, jihadist insurgents.
Well, I mean, it's in East Africa near the north end of the continent, so yeah, you're always going to have that issue.
Yeah, they have a huge issue with Al-Shabaab, which is a Al-Qaeda-linked jihadi faction.
Well, but that's my point is that's like, give humans tribalism and weapons, and there's going to be war and stuff.
Yeah, and Somalia, that's exactly what happened in Somalia, because it's divided along more tribal lines than it is national lines, because the colonial powers had no idea what they were doing when they divided up these countries.
I am fine with ANCAPs and stuff, even though I still disagree with them, because I feel like out of all of them, they at least try to be the most reasonable, and I get their ideas, but that's still very idealistic when it comes to ANCAPs and stuff.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely have issues with anarchism, but I wanted to say that I was trying not to talk about Degenerate ANCAP tonight because the topic's not about him. But
this was relative to RPR. At least my personal.
Yeah, he's part of RPR. So yeah, like I said, I just don't understand Max's rage and what his vendetta is with these people, especially with Shannon, because
it sounds
even way back in like mid 2018 when Buckley, I think HistoryNet and some other people did a response to Essence of Thought on Hitler, that he just exploded on Shannon Q, and I'm thinking like he would just stayed silent, calm. Maybe she would actually learn something about religious policy by the Third Reich.
What was it?
Basically, his condemnation of her was due to her saying that he's a nice person.
Right.
Like,
and
there's
that-
nothing. There's
you could
nothing nice
disagree
about
with that.
Essence of Thought.
Well, I
So,
mean, look. I mean,
So wait,
in all fairness,
what was the
according to
side?
Max, that's not the first person to explode on her.
Wait, what was sorry, what was essence of like what was going on? Like what was the nature of this video?
He was saying, he was basically pulling off that debunked Hitler was a Christian bullshit.
Okay, yeah, I mean
It's been
yeah,
debunked to the moon and back. I am fucking sick of these people.
Yeah, but what happened was that Shannon commented on that live stream, and she said that Essence was a nice guy, but the moment she said that, he exploded on her, and I didn't understand why. Because I'm thinking like you could say, "Oh, I don't think he's a nice guy."
Part of the stream, or just like
debunk him and and that gives you the reason why you don't think he's a nice guy.
were they all on air? I mean, questions were they all on air?
Yeah, they're all in there.
They were on. So she was in the live show, or was this just all in the comment section?
No. She was in the comments. She was in the chat.
Okay, and he was in like part of the debate, or he was just like in the comments as well.
He was on the stream. History Net. He was in the stream, right?
Huh?
I
was in the stream.
Was Max in the stream with you when you were debating Essence of Thought?
I wasn't debating him. We were doing a response to him.
It was a response video.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she came into the comment section of the response video.
Yeah, and said, "Oh, he's a nice guy."
And then he just exploded on her, and I'm thinking, like, why the fuck did you do that, Max? All you have to do is just explain a little history.
And he was on air and stuff.
It was on air, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, wasn't there also like someone did like a compilation video involving Max like going off and stuff?
That one's
I remember who it was. Someone did
on the internet.
Yeah.
Really, who did that?
I don't remember. It's just like I think it was either Max or someone posted the video in like their response video to it or something. It was like one of the many times they did a response video.
Oh God.
Yeah, and then, but that's just the thing it's just like the ranting, the going off and stuff. And you make these claims without really having any like evidence to back it up, and so it destroys people, your credibility.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And once, especially like you mentioned on the internet, once that you get that kind of credibility on the internet, you go the way of someone like Ginny McDermott.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I know it's pretty funny because like Max was kind of laughing when the whole like TFM and DDJ had their falling out and stuff, and he was kind of laughing at like saying, oh, he wants a MGTOW war and stuff, and then this happens and stuff. So basically, the same thing happened.
Wait, yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure if you guys are followed the whole DDJ and TFM breakup.
I don't know. I've never even heard of those.
Oh, they're part of MGTOW YouTube and stuff.
See, I don't know a whole lot about like I've heard of MGTOWs and what they are, but
well, DDJ's in the Red Pill Religion Discord probably because he's trying to get a following and chill and stuff. But like TFM, has its own Discord that I'm a part of. So essentially, what happened was DDJ is now getting sponsored by a pickup artist group, and he also has a girlfriend now who basically has convinced them that TFM is being blue pilled and stuff. So he's now like he's basically gone trad cook now. And basically, made misrepresenting statements about TFM, and TFM basically destroyed him in the response video.
Right.
Yeah. So there's that drama now. So now they split up, and then Max laughed at that, and now this happened, which is pretty funny. So now he's had his own sense of breakup, drama.
Yeah, because we're kind of splitting apart. Because I'm getting to the point. I'm sorry, it's useless, and this is not what I need in my life. I'm trying to pursue an education so I can actually go into the field of history, and I don't need someone like Max in my background.
Yeah, and then again, it also doesn't help. Like I said, it also doesn't help that he has like yes men in the Discord server because I sometimes have to take a break from the Discord server.
Is that he almost wants yes men because like every time he tries to if we go on a stream with him, we try to talk about our issues. He just talks over us.
Well, I mean, you also have to remember he was basically advocating on a AIDS denialist movie.
Oh, really? I think I heard about that.
What?
Yeah.
What? Like, what are you talking about?
I believe it was called House of Numbers or something.
And it was about they were saying that AIDS doesn't exist.
Basically, like they believe that AIDS is like a big government conspiracy thing where they're just selling toxic chemicals to kill off specific groups of people.
Oh, because wasn't there? Well, because didn't the gays have a conspiracy saying that AIDS was made by the government to kill gay people or something like that?
There's different variations of that conspiracy theory. The original said that was actually a Soviet disinformation campaign that said the U.S. government created AIDS to kill the black community.
Yeah, but in those days, basically, yeah, blacks didn't really get AIDS nearly as much as gays did.
What,
Right.
Dean is entertaining this idea?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Because the original, the official story is that AIDS came from a monkey or something like that. I forgot, like it was like a monkey bite or something like that in Africa.
Yeah, it came from what is now like the Congo.
Yeah, it had to do with a monkey and stuff. So I mean, some people found some people I guess thought that the story was kind of like very coincidental or something. So that's kind of where the people had the conspiracy about the government creating it.
Right. Well, but the main part of it didn't begin until the 80s, and that was a Soviet disinformation campaign.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's be clear. We personally all don't have problems with like people who hate vaccines, right? Because I mean, I can understand why people are against vaccination. Because there is a lot of coincidences in relation to like the rise in autism, as well as when we
I
started
think a lot of these
people.
vaccines, we just don't understand their effects.
I mean, it's overall. A lot of chemicals.
But I want to introduce Neffels here. We're talking about issues with Max Kolbe and Red Pill religion in general. Introduce yourself, if he's there.
Neffel,
you there?
Yep, alive and well.
Okay, so since you weren't on the last stream about this whole issue and stuff, do you have any personal problems with RPR that you'd like to voice?
Hello?
Yes.
Are you there?
Max is a son of a bitch.
You there, Neffel?
Brass was.
I think Brass was
okay, so do you have any issues with RPR?
Nope, not at all.
What? Really?
What?
Yeah, no issues.
Really?
Okay,
with all like the ranting, I don't know, the constant bashing of specific, people and stuff.
Have you seen my streams?
Well, I mean, in like in not even like in like a constructive way. It's just kind of like it's almost like SJW level-esque complaining.
Right.
You know what I mean? Wow. It's one thing to be like savage, make edgy jokes, but Max isn't even doing it. He's just like, he's just resorting to like basically like, oh, this person is just as bad as a KKK member and stuff. Like,
oh wow!
I first thought I'll admit to you, I laughed at that because I guess I didn't think Max was actually serious and stuff. But apparently, I mean, was he actually? I mean, I guess he is serious. He thinks Steve McRae is like a KKK member.
Oh man, no. I don't know. I don't know what the dude's politics are. Chances are he's like far leftist trying to pass off a center left. But but basically with the whole militant atheist kind of show with the Ned Sequitur show, essentially those guys are what me and Puno would call BMNs.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I understand that. But it's like with Max, it's like it's not even like funny or constructive in any way or anything clever. It's literally him like ranting and raging and stuff.
Yeah,
and then
if you're going to rant and rage, you have to do it like you have to do it with some finesse. If you're going to rant like a lunatic, and I've learned this pretty much, I rant like a lunatic on my streams, but if you're going to do it with some class. And
yeah, but
it into people.
I guess I don't use an insult, but it's kind of borderline autistic screeching sometimes.
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like, and then you call Steve McRae like a KKK member and stuff. It's like, okay, I mean, he's an asshole and a jerk and stuff at times and stuff, but it's like there's a difference between being a jerk and an asshole and stuff, and basically being like the KKK and stuff.
Yeah, because what is
it that Steve has done that makes them like a KKK member and stuff?
Yeah, you can be like.
I mean, do you know anything, Brass? I mean, you seem to know Steve, right?
And he claimed that Steve went after his kids.
Yeah, so like, where did Max get this idea that he's as bad as a KKK member?
I
don't get that analogy.
I quite honestly don't know. I mean, what's funny is he said Steve was going after his kids when Steve didn't even know he had kids.
Yeah, I mean,
that's another thing I was going to mention.
I thought that was Godless Engineer. Was that Steve? I thought like it seemed like he was.
That was both. He said that Godless Engineer beats up autistic kids.
Where did you get this from?
Well, yeah. Where the fuck did that come from? I don't think I was there when that happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, you probably weren't on here when he was doing this shit. Yeah.
He makes shit up. I don't care if he's listening in.
That's my point. That's my point, Neffel.
He's making shit up.
Well, see, that's my point, Neffel, is that like it's one thing to make edgy jokes, be politically incorrect, and like roast people and stuff. It's another thing to basically resort to SJW tactics, saying, "Oh, you're a Nazi for not agreeing with my opinions," or "You're just like a KKK." I mean, again, that's SJW. SJWS insult right there.
It's much more better if you basically call them like a beta male cuck.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's accurate and relevant,
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like what Max is doing is SJW-esque insult and stuff, and that's cringy. Like I didn't take the red pill just to like, basically in a sense go along with someone who's basically ranting and raving like that.
Right. And but Neffel, do you think it's okay that he called Shannon Q a skank and a thought and who does anything for money and a horrible excuse for a mother?
I don't know what the situations are, but if she legitimately is that, call her out on her bullshit. But you can call her out on her bullshit every time she says something stupid.
Right. That's
the thing is, Neffel, she basically posted a photo, just posted a casual photo and didn't say anything. And Max just like got on Twitter and went off on her and stuff. So like there was
shit. If she posted like a casual photo and there was basically some skin, chances are I would just automatically fap to her.
Well, no, I mean she just was posting a picture of a waterfall. That was it. She wasn't even the picture.
A waterfall?
Damn, I don't know. Like... It was a casual. It was a casual picture, and Max basically, for whatever reason, went completely off on her.
What? Seriously?
And like going off of Roosh V's ideas and stuff, some could hint that means like, yeah, if a man goes off on a woman like that, it means like he cares or something like that.
By the way, I have to disassociate myself from what Neffel just said here about fapping to Shannon.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, well, I mean, we all do that, don't we?
Not me.
You've gone monk. Well, you're going monk, Dimitri. You're going monk.
Oh, me? No. I'm trying to get back with an old lover of mine. So.
Well, you can't fap. Oh, that's funny. But that's just the thing.
I don't find. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't find Shannon that attractive. I mean, she's okay.
I mean, again, I just feel like again, it's like he acts like she basically like hurt him or something. Like I don't know what his issue is.
Well, that goes back to what you're saying. He's projecting he's always accusing us of white knighting for her whenever we do try to stick up. And
it's like, dude, I'm the guy who advocates like taking women's voting rights away and all that, all that junk and stuff. I'm not going to go.
I just associate myself with that too. So
yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Well, that he also said something about how Christians are. He said basically like like someone was posting about how Christians had what's the word? Oh yeah, they had said something about how Christians had did the Crusades or something like that, and he said, well, yeah, Christianity isn't a peaceful religion. Now, we think about killing you guys all the time.
Wait,
whoa, that's not cool,
Yeah, so he basically taught. So some atheists commented about Christianity not being a peaceful religion, and he said we think about killing you guys all the time.
Yeah, basically.
It's like that sounds like insane.
Well, here's the thing. I hate to say it, but Max does have serious issues that go beyond just regular anger issues. I mean, I have anger issues too, but I don't do bullshit he does.
Okay, I've on several occasions just wanted to post like on his Discord saying that I'm pretty sure almost every Catholic priest or archbishop or even deacon that you'll meet would probably denounce his extremism and stuff.
Any ordinary lay Catholic with
even the traditionals would probably say he's like he needs serious help.
And serious help, and he should probably get off whatever meds he's on, man.
I think he needs. I think there are some people I think just need to get off the internet. I just kind of feel like he can't handle the internet.
You need the counselor.
Yeah, it's like if basically it's like you gotta get off the internet. Yeah, some people are just not meant to endure to go ride the chaos of the internet, because when I first went to poll, I just laughed my ass off when I looked at some of the friends and comments. That's probably when I pretty much got even more based than I already was in my transition period.
I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the red pill rage.
Politically from liberal to conservative. That's what I mean by transition. I don't mean by like sex transition, because no way am I going to do that to my junk.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we get that. But I mean, are you guys? I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the red pill rage concept.
Oh yeah, I Happy Humble I've heard about it from Happy Humble Hermit's video.
I mean, how about you, Dimitri, or you other guys?
I've heard of red pill rage.
It's basically the concept that the period from when you get red pilled, and then you basically like have serious like you get really angry at things. You know, you feel betrayed. You feel, you know.
I took the red pill once. Now I don't have kidney stones.
Good point. Good times.
Well, that's kind of the concept of the red pill rage. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, is Max still in the red pill rage phase or something?
I don't know.
He's just old as hell.
And what's weird is that, yeah, but the weird thing is that, you know, before they, like him, John and Andrew had their, you know, final debate with the Non Sequitur show with like Kyle, Godless Engineer, and Steve and stuff, you know, Max even said he wants to basically be done with these people and stuff. And yet here he is, he did it again and stuff.
Yeah, that's my point. My point is that we go through this bullshit. We go through the same old cycle every month almost.
Yeah, it's like, who was the other person that was kind of like encouraging him to keep going and stuff? What was it? Was it IP or what? Like, who was it?
IP, Inspiring Philosophy.
There was someone, I can't remember. There was someone who basically was still like talking about Non Sequitur show even after they basically all agreed that, you know, you're dead to us, we're dead to you and stuff. You know, that was literally saying, hey, we're just going to like, you know, let this slide, and we're gonna like, you know, go our separate ways and stuff. And, you know,
I don't know. I don't think it would have been IP, because I know IP has distanced himself from him. He won't even come here.
Oh, okay.
The Distributus also distance himself, and
Fritz Imperial. I know Fritz Imperial.
Yeah, Fritz Imperial and Sygart.
Oh, so what? So IP distanced himself, because people keep talking about IP a lot. I thought what seemed
Inspiring Philosophy.
Yeah, it seemed like I thought he was okay. It seemed like he was still with Red Pill Religion, since people keep bringing him up and like.
No, he talked to him one time and talked to us, but he also had enough of Dean.
Okay, because people
like
in the
Distributors also had enough, and Sygart had enough.
And Tim O'Neill won't come on his channel to interview, so.
And Sentinel Apologetics doesn't like him, and neither does RCA, and pretty much everyone.
Well, I mean, he doesn't like RCA. I mean, again, well, of course he's not going to like RCA, because Max and several other people in the Discord have like this real like hard-on for hating on Protestants in like Sola Scriptura and stuff.
Philosophy Tiger also distanced himself from Dean.
Okay, well, the perennial list offers have fair critiques about Protestantism, but I would never bash people just because they're Protestant. It's like just it's like hey, whatever, right?
I mean, if it makes you guys happy, if it makes you happy, Scribe, you, I also hate Protestants as well.
I've rarely encountered.
Well, it's like what I mean. I'm kind of like, why waste your time and stuff? It's like.
Well, I everyone.
Yeah, I honestly don't care, man.
It's like if someone bashes your religion, it's like okay, people bash you for liking Superman. Like I get hate all the time for like saying I like Superman as my favorite superhero. I'm not gonna like start ranting.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing inherently wrong with Superman as a character. It's just the way different offers.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He has like multiple offers. So, but personally, I like the Dini's version of Superman.
Well, I'm just saying. Right? What I'm trying to the point I'm trying to make is that you're gonna get hate in your life. If you seriously can't handle people getting hate, then it's like it means that you're not ready for the real world and stuff. I mean, this is exactly why you have all these angry kids running around who are basically like, you know, protesting and doing all this stuff because they can't handle real life.
Right, yeah, that's so true. Sometimes those angry kids just need a little, a little pimp hand to the face. Just need to get the pin in.
Well, this is why back in the old days, people used to fight. This is the reason why that's the reason why I kind of advocate people allowing people to fight, because back in the old days, people used to get into fights all the time. They learned how to overcome their challenges.
I don't know. I think Max needs a counselor. He needs to see
whenever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Reagan.
Wait, hold on. Here's the funny thing is, but didn't Max also hate psychology now? Because I remember he made a comment saying like psychology is not a trustworthy thing or not. So
I don't know. I think that has to do with Shannon too.
Yeah, he said psychology isn't a real science.
Yes, social science is not a real science, but I think psychology has been determined as a real science, right?
It's a social science, much like history.
Oh, is it? I thought psychology was actually officially made like a science now.
It's not a natural science like biology, but it's a social science like history and cultural anthropology is.
Oh, history is a social science. I thought that was actually
or interpretive history was very.
You thought it was what?
Oh, what?
Wait, you thought it was what?
I thought history was was like its own category of science. Like it was,
it's part of social
you can have actual evidence. It's not a social science.
It's part of social science because it deals with a lot of social issues through time and space.
Hey, you know what else is a social? You know what else is a social science?
What?
Gender studies.
Okay, see,
that is bullshit.
That's why. See, again, it's stuff like that. That's exactly why when I hear the word social science, I cringe. That's why I try to separate philosophy and history.
It has a bad issue because of
because social science deals more with like observable reality and more like it
deals with people. It's about it deals with people. And then
about the issue is
kind of thing, right?
The issue is that the social science has been given a bad name because of things like gender studies and
I mean, it's true. I mean, people used it to basically.
Well, just remember this is like psychology now has determined that toxic masculinity is a thing.
No, they declared traditional masculinity.
Wait, hold on. Wait, was that psychology? I feel like that was gender studies.
That was the APA.
The APA was the APA again.
American Psychological Association.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think I trust the APA more when it comes to actual psychology and disorders than I trust some Tumblr.
Yeah, thanks to heavy feminist lobbying, the APA.
Okay, well, you can't. Well, here's the reality: you can't trust. I mean, this may sound like. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys will consider this a conspiracy theory, but I personally don't really trust these like research groups as much anymore, because when you realize that they get their money from grants from the government, and if activist groups,
problem is they're subjected to heavy scrutiny from lobbying. Like I said, the reason why the APA declared traditional masculinity inherently harmful was because of intense lobbying by feminist groups.
Well, that's my point. Is because of lobbying and the fact that the government bends the knee to these people. Yeah, like if you're a scientist and you're trying to and you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to go into biology and prove that such and such is like a natural form of the body." If it doesn't go along with political correctness, you're basically going to threaten your grants, your money.
If I also may bring up something, it's like, there is one good thing that came out of the APA thing.
What?
They made it so much easier for me to get a psychologist now to find out who's a good psychologist, because I just simply, when I'm ringing up for a psychologist, I say, "Do you agree with the APA and what they say about traditional masculinity?" If they say yes, or if they hesitate, just say thank you, but no, and then just hang up.
But here's the thing: I heard that there was some medical journal that actually tried to say that biological women can actually have penises.
Well, yeah, that's what.
There's hermaphrodites.
Yeah, but that's not really. That's not the same as like saying, "Oh, a person can be born this way and then become that way" and stuff. And they're biologically that way. That's not true.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the thing. But the thing is that you can't blindly trust science groups, because they get their money from like the government, and they also are subjected to these lobbyist groups and can be lose their funding.
Right.
So that's the reason why I'm always skeptical of a lot of these studies, which is why when you look at Wikipedia or other places, you have to look at the links that people provide, and that gives you a hint. Where it's
Wikipedia's gone. I noticed since Donald Trump became president, Wikipedia's become increasingly less reliable because
you saw how they were asking for funding, right? Because people were trying to basically mess around with Wikipedia. They've been doing things for years.
I thought it used to be reliable, and I would link it to people as a basic intro, so they could get further their
Wikipedia is reliable if you're looking up like zoology. Like if it's like about animals and stuff, Wikipedia is pretty reliable. But
and on
politics,
history,
and on religious matters, you can't trust them. Like they have it locked on the Moses section that the consensus is that he didn't exist when that's not the consensus. It's the majority of scholars and archaeologists think so, but it's not consensus, and they just.
And that's another problem too. Wikipedia was originally supposed to be a public domain, and now they're going with things like they're locking certain articles.
To be real, you can't edit everything. You can't edit things because people will do really dumb stuff. Edit it.
But Wikipedia is supposed to be a public domain. Whoever has the best research and evidence to put it on there.
Yeah, but so that I guess for me that's the thing is that it's just that I don't know, like all this, like the lecturing, the ranting and stuff, with Max and stuff. It just kind of comes off as SJWS, and it doesn't do the channel any favors.
Definitely, it's sort of like that quote from Obi-Wan Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith: "You've now become the very thing you're fighting against."
It's like when me and John were doing news streams, that was entertaining and fun because we were actually looking at articles by well, this had to do with freedom from religion stuff. Like this was like an atheist organization, so we are reviewing articles about that and giving our critiques on these articles and kind of giving example that how freedom from religion is basically using all these very minor incidences to paint religion as some boogeyman, where it's like, oh, if we don't do this, it's going to basically, it's going to turn into people are going to be put under an oppressive Christian regime or something like that. And it's something very minor, like, oh, someone holding public prayer or someone basically running.
That's
someone like having like a prayer group after school and stuff. It's like it's all really minor, stupid shit.
It's paranoia.
It's paranoia. Yeah, basically they're trying to do whatever excuse they can to basically like make so religion is like as less prevalent as possible. So we did critiques of this and exposed them, and that was really good and fun. But then he stopped doing that because Max then again changed the channel setup. So now everything's all like hectic.
It's a dumpster fire. It is a dumpster fire. I mean, this is why I've abandoned ship formally.
Yeah, and then and then he's also like he's apparently like he's now getting with like red pill philosophy, and it's like I mean I used to be a red pill philosophy fan, and I like some of his videos.
Oh, that guy!
I do agree. He's a bit of an asshole and stuff. Oh, you never heard of him?
I heard that he's a flat earther now.
Yeah, that's flat earther.
Well, wait, no. He's a globe skeptic. Get it right.
There you go.
Okay. Basically, the most popular thing about basically, Red Pill Philosophy's biggest claim to fame was he was the one who basically did that video of like gender equality where it like shows men hitting women back and stuff. It's like that montage.
He was originally an anti-feminist YouTuber.
Oh, he still is and stuff. He just is like switching back and like he just went to flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that guy since like 2015.
Well, he had some good videos though. Like some of his videos were pretty good. It's just
I remember I watched him back in like 2015.
And and then he started talking about his veganism because he basically then decided, oh, I'm a vegan, so I have to basically shame people or talk to people about how
Dean also says that people should pay attention to Red Pill Philosophy and Owen Benjamin because they're getting more views now and they're becoming more popular. I'm like,
what was Owen Benjamin again? Who is he?
Comedian. He pretty much came out. I think he's a conservative comedian now. He pretty much knows celebrities about there, and he calls out on the liberal bullshit.
Okay,
he wasn't on
that. So I saw him.
He's
a nice guy.
Yeah, I saw him on. I'm trying to remember. I saw him on the show on TBS, Sullivan and Son. Yeah, that's the show.
Yeah, but isn't he a conspiracy theorist of some sorts?
Yeah, that's why he likes him.
Wait,
he's like, these channels are getting all the rage right now. It's all hot topic, and I'm like, well, yes, our atheist channels. It doesn't make them right.
Exactly.
Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
Well, I mean, here's another thing: is Red Pill Philosophy is actually an atheist.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah.
What?
Oh, I didn't know he was an atheist.
Didn't he argue against the spaghetti monster shit?
Yeah, he argued against Godless Engineer. I know that.
Well, no. Here's the thing: is like, he talked to Mormon girls. He flat out did say that he was a skeptic about religion. He doesn't believe in it.
That doesn't make him an atheist.
No, I think he did come out and say he was.
Okay.
Well,
when was this?
Wait, was Owen
or an agnostic or something like that?
Hold on one second. So wait, was Owen Benjamin? He was part of InfoWars, right? Is that the Owen Benjamin I'm thinking about, or am I mixing people up?
Probably confusing with another Benjamin.
So sorry, he's a YouTuber, or is he part of some group? Like, what group is he a part of?
I don't know. I really don't. I've heard of a little bit about Owen Benjamin, but
yeah, I've heard the name before. I just don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen him on Red Elephants, I think.
Oh, okay. Red Elephants? Isn't that Vincent?
Vincent James, yeah.
I don't think that's Owen Benjamin.
I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I mean,
okay, but you're saying is that Max was basically that we should follow them.
And he also recommended Eric Dubay.
Who's Eric Dubay?
Like one of the largest known flat earthers on the planet.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, I follow Raging Golden Eagle, Turd Flingy Monkey, Happy Humble Hermit.
Well, here's the thing.
These guys are big time.
I follow Mark Dyson. He used to be a huge conspiracy theorist, but he does just regular news segments now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember Mark. I guess I only recently started following Mark Dyson the past
Steven
couple
Crowder's
years.
funny, though. Funny
yeah, Steven Crowder's great. Like that guy's like that guy's skits are hilarious.
Let's see. I also follow some of my friends from the Gulf City crew, aka the Whale Gang.
Yeah, there's limits on conspiracism before you're considered to be a nutbag, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the whole 9/11 truther thing, that's hit and miss.
Well, here's the thing: is like, I was just about to mention that, like, his friend, who he talks to a lot, Rabbi Oliver, is a 9/11 denier.
Oh, you mean 9/11 truther?
This is Max's friend.
Yeah, he's
Rabbi
a rabbi.
Oliver.
Yes, Shavat Oliver. That's his name.
Oh, it's even been a while.
Hey, we all know the Zionist Jews did 9/11.
Oh yeah,
hey, that's going to no. Shut it down.
We're gonna get a visit by Mossad.
Yeah.
Oh, good God! But
yeah, it's like I know what's funny is how if you want a good way to like say like piss off degenerate ANCAP, just bring up Calvinism and stuff. It's like I'm a fucking Catholic and stuff. I don't really care about Calvinism, but it's like him and Eric have some serious like hatred for them and stuff. It's just so laughable how easy it is for him to get set off by that thing.
Well, I mean, I hate Calvinists as well.
Well, that's why I stopped. Well, that's why I stopped like discussing with them. I'm just like fucking with them now, where it's like I'm just gonna say the most outrageous things about anarchism because I know there's just no real point in talking with them anymore.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said, it's a mess. It's a mess over at RPR.
Yeah, I know, and then some people are like really obsessed with like dying by the principles, and it's like I have principles, but I'm one of those people that I'm willing to bend by principles in the case of survival, like survival of the West. Here. Like I'm perfectly willing. Like I ideally want all Christians to form, like say, an army to take out the like Marxists and stuff. So that's why I don't punch Christian. Like Black Pill came up with a term called I don't punch right, as in he doesn't criticize other right wingers and stuff.
Right, and here's the thing: I've changed a lot too in my views. I used to be really staunchly libertarian, so I would look at some like Hungary banning gender studies, and I would say, well, I think gender studies are stupid, but it's their right to to study it if that's what they want. I'm like, no, that shit will fuck up your society.
Yeah, same here. I used to be pretty staunchy libertarian, but then I just made a full right turn. I'm not above. I'm not above using any and all tactics to pretty much if it means saving the West from its own destruction.
See, I kind of
I'm a minarchist libertarian myself.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of like see, me personally, it's like I have principles, but I'm willing, like I said, I'm willing to bend them. And for me, it's like I just don't like egalitarians anymore because I used to be an egalitarian myself, but then I just kind of feel like that just is not how humanity works. And even in a religious sense, we are equal in God's eyes, but that does not equal that we ourselves are equal to each other.
Well, there's a difference between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome.
I honestly think at this point, equality of opportunity doesn't even give people what they want.
Well, I mean, just think about this with socialism, man. You know, you're all equal if you're all starving.
Yeah, you're like in Venezuela, everyone's equal in poverty.
I know, it's like people are like crying about how oppressed they are and stuff when it's like, oh yeah, you have a freaking smartphone, you're not going hungry at night and stuff, you know. You're just oppressed because some person didn't like give you free money or didn't give you a free promotion at a job or something like that.
Well, this is the scary thing about millennials now that they're growing up and they're entering politics, like Alexandria Cortez. They're going to really call for socialism because these surveys have shown that most millennials prefer Marxist socialism.
You can bet basically a good deal of millennials got their political education from reading Harry Potter. I would certainly not be quite. I loved Harry Potter growing up, but I never allowed that to like basically shape my political opinions and stuff because I thought that would be retarded.
I love the Lord of the Rings, so.
Well, like that, I love that too and stuff. I'm just saying is that if you ask most millennials, they will basically respond saying that their favorite book series is Harry Potter. And if you compare their politics, you'll see a lot of similarities between Harry Potter and politics. But here's the thing. It's a fictional story. The writer can make whatever outcome she wants. Meaning that
the fans are annoying as hell. I just say I like Twilight better to just spite them.
But here's the thing.
I watched Hellsing. I loved Hellsing.
But here's the thing. I was just gonna say is that here's the thing is that when you have a fictional story, the writer can write wherever they want. Meaning that a character can basically pull off some random ability to get out of a situation and stuff. In real life, bad guys do tend to win, and bad things happen, and people have to deal with the reality of poor mistakes or very bad decisions. Like you don't get to rewind or fix things and stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with Harry Potter series is that they allow you to suspend your dimension of belief not only in the fictional world, but then they grow up to expect it in the real world.
Well, I mean, just remember this: life sucks, and then you die.
Yeah.
What was it that Benjamin Franklin said? There are only two true things in the world, and that's death and taxes.
But that's just the thing. But that's the thing is that again, you should never base your political opinions off of escapism, because escapism is about suspending your disbelief and like going into this magical world, and which is a great story. I like stories like that. But I should never base my political opinions off stuff. You should base your political opinions off something that's real.
I know. I mean, it is based partly off of Christianity, so it won't work.
That's funny right there. Funny enough, Christianity actually does pretty work when you apply it in a social sense.
Well, but here's the thing, Brass. Well, I have to disagree with you there. I mean, we've gone through almost 2,000 years of Christianity.
I think he's joking.
Even 100 years of SJW and millennial marketing.
I think Mr. Brass is joking.
Yeah, I think he's joking too. I definitely do. So.
But
think about the Crusades, man. Or what about Hitler? And he has they had belt buckles with Gott ins Mund on them.
Yeah.
Yes. It's because because a devout Christian like Adolf Hitler would totally allow like Hermann Goering, who hates Christianity and support neo-paganism. He would totally be cool with Hermann Goering.
Or allowing
the occultism,
Or allowing Heinrich Himmler to engage in an anti-church campaign.
Yeah, because nothing says Christian like mixing Christian symbolism with paganism and stuff.
Yeah, and the anti-church campaign in Nazi Germany led to.
Let's be honest. Oh, yeah, sorry. Himmler was an atheist. Sorry, that's what. So
no, Himmler was a neo-pagan.
Oh wait, who was it? Who was the atheist? Someone was the atheist. I can't remember which.
There were no atheists in the Nazi Party.
I thought there was one.
Most of the Nazis hate atheism.
Yeah, because they associate it with communism.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, see, here's the thing.
Hitler was more of a pantheist and a deist kind of. He was deist, but he had some pantheistic views. Heinrich Himmler, he was into the occult. Joseph Goebbels was the astrologer.
Yeah, Mr. Brass, if Hitler is a deist, then you're in trouble.
Well, yeah, I reluctantly agree that he was a deist because I actually did read his book. I can't remember Mein Kampf.
Nazi confirmed.
And no, well, I'm half German, so I'm offended that you called me a Nazi.
But here's the thing: there's a difference between them.
But here's the thing. What I like to say is like, I was reading that, and when I read it, every time he mentions God, he always associates it back with nature. So he Hitler either thought that nature and God were one, like a pantheist, or he believed sort of like God was just there, overseeing it.
Well, he was really good at painting backgrounds.
There's a difference between Hitler's kind of Kantian German Enlightenment deism and Brass's Jeffersonian all-American deism. So,
well, the thing is what people just need to realize is that the Nazis weren't Christian, and nor were the atheists and stuff. Like, again, there were some Christians in the soldiers, of course, because they come from those backgrounds and stuff. But the leadership, their intentions were to basically annex Christianity and replace it with a grassroots religion. That was basically
we got to talk about this on a stream about it.
Yeah, I meant to do a stream on religious policy in the Third Reich the other day, but I slept as usual.
Well, yeah, because everyone thought they were all Christians. Like, no, the soldiers, yes, but the leadership, that's not what they wanted. I mean, after all, it's like how the alt-right, there was like a mini civil war between like some who were Christians still and others who were neo-pagans, because again, they say, oh, you're worshiping a Jew.
Oh, there was a power struggle. There wasn't a civil war. There was a power struggle.
Okay, a power struggle. It was just pretty funny. Like, David Serini did a video one time during a Rushby live stream where he talks about how, in the alt-right, the entire alt-right, you're debating on what counts as white and, like, whether or not you should worship a pagan god and stuff or worship a Jew. It's like how people try to call Milo an alt-righter, even though the alt-right hates him because he is like a kike.
He's a Jewish, gay Jewish guy.
They call him a kike and stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't he a Catholic? He's a gay
Catholic, yeah. Yeah, his mom's side of the family's Jewish, I think, yeah. So he's ethnically Jewish.
Halfway, so. Yeah.
And he's also Greek, yeah. He also is part Greek and stuff. It's like, yeah, I think that's not.
He was also molested by a priest as a kid.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, he's one of those people that basically, like, when they, like how some people use humor to cope with, like, a horrible traumatic incident. That's kind of what he does. He kind of like makes that's where like he got in trouble one time where he like says, oh, I learned everything I needed to know from like Father Gordon or whatever, which was kind of like implying molestation stuff. And
I remember what he said. He said, I learned all I need to know about oral from the father.
Yeah, I know. So again, I think it was partly a joke and him telling the truth and stuff. So it's kind of like how people use humor to cope with traumatic experiences.
Right. Definitely.
Couldn't have been that traumatic if he became gay as a result.
What?
Hey, what did Milo and Jesus have in common?
Oh no, bro. No.
Jewish?
No. They both had the Father in them.
If this was an RPR stream, you would have been kicked immediately and stuff. Yeah, so you were the. Oh yeah, because since you were kicked, so like after he kicked you, he then went on like a minute-long rant about like how it's like, oh, it's all anti-Catholic, hatred and stuff. These jokes. But that's what happened after you got kicked on our.
There's that one you said about what was Jesus doing on Good Friday.
Oh my
god. Getting nailed.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah, I think Cosmic would say that would get you arrested for blasphemy laws.
Well, I mean, the fact that I'm a deist would probably get me arrested first.
Well, I mean, Cosmic does think you're going to hell, though.
Oh, I know. I tell people on Twitter all the time that I'm perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, and then
no, you're not, Brass. Don't condemn yourself.
Then Max also saying Max also joined to the people who think that porn is deadly or something like that. Or I mean,
well, not entirely. Not that's kind of hyperbolic. I mean, if you're
porn
is like an addiction, yeah. But it's it also skews your view of reality. But is it deadly? Is it poison? No.
I mean, I shouldn't say deadly, but people think it drives people insane and stuff, and I don't think it itself drives people insane. I just think people with mental issues, sure, it can cause more problems, but I don't think it turns people into monsters.
Oh, wait, I got something, So I ask a Christian and I say, can I watch porn? They say, no, you'll go to hell for that. I say, can I watch porn in hell? They'll say, yeah, you can do that there. And I say, yep, sign me up for hell.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, porn's been around since the beginning of civilization. I mean, even during during the early modern period, they had porn books and stuff. So it's not even a recent thing.
You'd be surprised that the Amish actually have pornography.
Isn't that a meme? I thought that was a meme.
Yeah, they do.
Amish
they do.
The more you know.
It's more classy.
They gotta have something to do. Their lives are boring.
It's more
their lives aren't entirely boring. They have some stuff that they do. I watched a bit of a documentary.
I know. I was just kidding. They have they run a shop in town.
What's the good thing about the Amish though? They're the one people that
they make good ass food.
Well, but there's also another good thing is that you can talk as much shit about them as you want online, and it's not like they're gonna see it.
Oh yeah. Well, funny enough about the Amish, because their birth rates are actually really high because they're super traditional. They're actually legit traditional and stuff.
Well, they're stuck in the 19th century.
Well, yeah, but you are aware that if America doesn't change and stuff, basically the Amish will probably be the only Christians in existence, given how Christians are not having kids in massive amounts like they used to.
Well, conservative.
Basically, they might be the only Christians left in America if we don't change our birth rates.
Yeah,
and the only way to do that is, pretty much taking women's right to vote.
Yeah, repeal that 19th, boys.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
when that happens, it's civil war. I mean, you would have to have civil war for that to actually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was saying was that conservative religious Christians generally have more kids than more the progressive-y, Obama-y style Christian.
Well, Christians, I guess, yes. I mean, although I would say that's even when among conservatives, they still aren't having as many kids, especially when you have the women who are basically still focusing on careers and not realizing that, if you have kids outside of your fertility years, it becomes a lot harder, and the chance of those kids having autism and mental illness go sky high.
Yeah, that's a huge problem with
basically girls should be
society is that
basically for girls to have the right time to kids is 18 to 24.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's actually 30 or something. I mean, the window's there in terms of fertility, but it's the best time I think is 18 to 26 or 27. It's
I'll tell you guys, my mother had me when she was 33.
Yeah, that's still within the fertility window, but it's after 35 or after 34, that's basically the wall.
Well,
yeah,
that's where things start happening. Things go wrong. Yeah.
Muslims, the good age is between 9 to 12.
That's funny.
What?
I said for Muslims, the good age for women is around 9 to 12.
Oh my god. Off Rotherham.
I thought that was a reference to Muhammad's wife.
Oh, that too, probably.
Yeah, he married.
No, she was I think she was 6 and then married her when she was 9. No. Married when they were 6 and consummated a marriage when she was 9.
Yeah.
Well, I mean when she was 6, not when they were 6, because he was a grown man still.
He had a wife old enough to be his mother and young enough to be his granddaughter.
Yeah, because polygamy is cool in Islam.
It's also cool in Mormonism.
Yeah. My problem with polygamy is mainly based on the fact that it basically makes it so the top 20% of men hog all the women, which basically make it so you get a bunch of incels. Like a lot of people were saying that a good counteract. What?
I was going to say that's a huge reason. Part of the reason why the Islamic Society has such serious issues with violence, both sectarian and non-sectarian, is because society, historically speaking, most of those Arab societies have always been polygamous. So, like the emirs and the sheiks, they would get all sexy women and like harems and whatnot. But the bottom men would get fuck all.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, the factor is when you have a society made up of it kind of happened in China basically, where it's like if you have more men than women, then they go to war. That's when your society's going to have more war and stuff. And if men basically can't get women stuff, they're going to basically form these parties or like war bands and stuff and go out and basically raid.
Exactly.
That's why people raid and stuff.
In the Middle East, when they don't have any women, they just join the local jihadi that promises them things like jihadi bride.
That's why that's why Roman soldiers like went in raids and stuff. That's why Vikings did that too. They did that because since the men, like the top men, had all the women, you basically go and raid villages, and that's where you get your pussy and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, what do you call an attractive Muslim woman?
A what?
A jihadi.
Oh, okay. Jihad. But that's the thing is that my personal opinion is I think polygamy leads to the incel problem. Like today, because people like fling so much and we're not as monogamous as we used to, you have a bunch of men who basically are left out of this spectrum. Whereas if we are more monogamous, then there'd be more there'd be more love to go around.
Well, our society, I think we are in societal decline.
Yeah, I think
you're just figuring that out now.
Yeah, I think I think studies have shown that like the Christian lifestyle, and I mean traditional Christian lifestyle, definitely is more healthy for society than what we have now. Because you have a monogamous family with a mother and father raising their kids, and the kids go out and have lots of kids too.
Yeah. The biggest
problem. And your birth rate's high. Like traditional Christian birth rates were like very high.
The problem is, the reason why I think we're in decline is because we have this, like you said, we don't have this monogamous lifestyle anymore. Everyone's just fucking each other, and
it also doesn't help. It also doesn't
have children and
themselves.
Well, it also doesn't help that the government basically like puts all these regulations on companies, which makes it so they don't pay people as much, and then they start importing slave labor from foreign countries as well. Like
and then that creates a whole new host of issues, with multiculturalism, is that people don't trust each other anymore. This has been studied by a lot of people.
And then the housing market, because of all these like regulations and stuff, have basically made it so housing's really expensive. That's why California is unaffordable, because they have all these ridiculous like environmentalist policies that are basically making it more expensive to put houses. And it looks like a third world country. If you look at pictures of Orange County, there's like garbage all over the place. It's like a third world country.
Yeah, it's basically a third world country down there. There's a YouTuber I follow. I just started following him about a month ago. His name's Grindel61. And he goes through Southern Cal. He has videos where he goes through Southern California. It's a mess down there.
Oh yeah, no, I made a joke. I did like a comeback with someone who basically was accusing the whole fact when you use the word shithole, it's like a racist term to talk about African nations and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I call California shithole regularly. Last I checked, that's not an African nation.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah.
I know that
too is that they have a huge I generally respect the Hispanic community, but they have a huge issue with the so-called undocumented workers who refuse to assimilate.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, it's just like even if you don't want to talk about simulation, when you have all these workers who are going to work for slave wages, that's going to be disastrous for the native population. Like
it's in Europe, they have the huge issues with the Muslim ghettos, the no-go zones, which help after terrorism and all that.
Well, yeah. Again, the reality is like this is where I disagree with the alt-right. The alt-right is like lives and dies by the whole Calgary plan, which they say is the reason why they're flooding the West is to like basically perpetuate white genocide and bring about like a master mixed race or something like that. But the reality is that the reason why all these migrants are coming to Europe is because, one, the Europeans are not having high birth rates anymore, mainly due to the fact that women are having careers and stuff, which means they're not focusing on having kids. And the politicians obviously don't want to commit career suicide and say, oh, we're going to take their rights away and stuff. So they're now importing workers from the third world. And then basically a lot of them are not getting jobs. And not to mention, they're basically working for slave wages, so the wages of everyone else drops.
Yeah, and that's a huge issue with...
It's like how they export jobs to foreign countries for slave wages and stuff. And it bit them in the back because now people here can't work.
Yeah, I'll admit, I've gone to the point where even though I do think capitalism is the best economic system, it has its limitations.
Well, again, it's not capitalism. It's literally, you can blame the government. Like you can blame Clinton. Like Bill Clinton was one of the driving factors behind our jobs going overseas. Like,
yeah, because I know he thought that by sending our jobs to China, that was going to make them more democratic and they would liberalize, but that never happened.
And then you have all these taxes and regulations. It also doesn't help that you have all these taxes and regulations that basically make it so it's harder for people to start competition. Like literally right now, it's easy for big companies to get around things because they can afford it. But if you're a smaller company, it's hard to get around all these different regulations and taxes.
Yeah, I've been to Southern California, and it's a mess. I mean, you go there, it's like it's one huge ghetto, essentially.
Well, also, what contrary to people believe, America actually has one of the highest corporate taxes in the nation. See, the difference between America and Scandinavia is Scandinavia has actually very low corporate taxes. It's just they have like a 55% income tax. So basically 55% of your income is going to the government. Meaning, like, if you work, so basically in Denmark, if the minimum wage is $21, I think that's what people have said it's $21. Then if you subtract 55 from that, you're basically getting like $9 an hour when you take into account that you're paying 55% of your income to the government.
Well, I mean, here's the thing you have to remember is that, well, actually, they don't have a minimum wage technically in Denmark. What they have is they have strong unions, and the unions ensure them a certain thing.
Well, hey guys, I think hold on, everyone. I think because we're getting off topic, we could continue this conversation in the after show, but I think we're gonna because we run out of things to talk about RPR. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here. So,
I guess was there any other things that like you needed to like bring up about the whole issue with RPR?
Not really. I think we've because we're talking about tax rates and all that. So
okay, well, because I just kind of find it weird that that he just went off randomly on Shannon Q over just like she just posted something casual and he just goes off, and apparently he was drunk.
Oh yeah, and like I don't understand why do you get fucking drunk and then go online? I mean,
okay, I've tweeted while drunk and said stupid shit, but it wasn't like going off on someone. Like I made an edgy joke.
I don't believe him. I think he was capable because the way it was spelled, the grammar was all fine. Everything was spelled right. I mean, if it had been all misspelled and the grammar was out of place, then yeah, maybe I could believe it. But that's not what happened.
That's not what happened.
No, it was everything was spelled properly. All the grammar was right when he was insulting her. So I can't really believe that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
So I guess we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, we could continue this conversation if you guys wish, but I think I'm gonna end it here. So this has been another edition of the Russian Bot Podcast. Signing off now. Das Vidanya, comrades.